Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So The Intercept is out with more whistleblower details about the Environmental Protection Agency, and it's pretty disturbing. The whistleblowers allege that the managers in the new chemicals division continue to remove information from reports about the dangers of some of these new chemicals coming to market. This is including cancer, miscarriage, neurotoxicity, which basically just means the chemicals may cause neurological damage. So these allegations are being submitted to the EPA's Inspector General. And the whistleblowers say that the managers have used the excuse that the chemicals basically are so unpleasant that people are going to avoid further contact with these substances, or they'll choose to use protective gear. So basically, they're counting on the public to self-regulate and avoid chemicals because they're unpleasant, but they're refusing to tell them, oh yeah, by the way, they could cause cancer, or they could jack up your brain or cause miscarriage. And the whistleblowers rightfully point out, some people might not find these substances to be that unpleasant, or due to their job, they may be forced to continue working with these chemicals, and they also note that some protective gear is insufficient. It just depends on how dangerous the chemicals are and what level of protective gear that you have. So for example, the whistleblowers say that some chemicals are so toxic that even a single exposure could cause irreversible harm. The scientists experienced this with a chemical that they assessed earlier in this year. They performed animal studies on this one chemical, and they said that 63% of the pregnant mice experienced a miscarriage after being exposed to the chemical only one time. However, managers removed any mention of this study or the possibility of miscarriage. So they issued their final risk assessment and they just left that out. And then instead, they stated in essence that, people probably won't be exposed to this chemical more than once or on a regular basis. Therefore, it was, quote, not likely that it would pose a health risk. Then another chemical that was also under review this year, this was in March of this year, it's a chemical that's used to make other chemicals. So there's workers that are going to be exposed to this. And scientists believe that this chemical causes cancer. In fact, they assessed that 1 out of every 118 people who are exposed to this chemical would likely develop cancer based on other similar chemicals that were closely related to this chemical's analog. And that's the issue here, is that these are new chemicals. So they do these studies, but they also base it on other similar chemicals. Well, the manufacturer even said, we want to warn people, anyone even living near to the factory would be exposed to this compound. So you can see how this would be a massive problem. The EPA managers, though, chose to assess the dangers of this chemical based on another less toxic analog that had never even been tested for repeated exposure. So rather than using an analog that was very similar, that was highly carcinogenic, they said, oh no, let's compare it to another chemical that's just, not so bad, and that we haven't looked at repeated exposure and what might happen with that. Once again, their final assessment stated that this cancer-causing chemical was, quote, not likely to present an unreasonable health risk. They provide additional details and examples in the article, but you guys get the picture. This government agency, as I've mentioned before, has been completely corrupted by corporate influence. The revolving door between corporations and the government means that money and power wins, and we, the people, lose our lives. This is exactly why cancer rates and the rates of other diseases and illnesses continue to skyrocket. We are under siege every day, all day. From shampoo, laundry detergent, the air we breathe, we are constantly exposed to toxins, you guys, and they are not being regulated. Our tax dollars are paying the salaries of these people, people who are lying to us, people who don't give a damn if you or your loved one dies of cancer. Literally. So unless and until we get money out of politics and until we put in place laws and rules that prevent these corporate shills from taking jobs within government agencies that are supposed to regulate those same corporations, we will continue to get sicker and sicker. And then what do? They push their drugs on us to help manage the symptoms of the same diseases and illnesses that they caused. This is a sick, demented system, and it needs to be destroyed. So I hope you guys will share this information. It is absolutely critical. I know it's not the, sexy January 6th stuff. It's not like the, tabloid BS about Matt Gaetz, but this is literally life-threatening information. So please share this. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.